So I wasn't going to get into the Ari Lennox conversation, but a Facebook friend of mine asked my opinion on it, and as I was thinking about it, I was thinking this might be something that I would want to, do a video for. So here we are.
I'm not with it. I'm not fucking with that shit, like, at all. Like, how people hate black people so much, how black people can sit up here and say that's not my problem. Or she does look like a Rottweiler. That's fine. That's fine. But and you want to talk about how people are so sensitive. They want us to cancel freedom of speech. Why is this your speech? Why are you so comfortable tearing down black women and no other race? Look around. Look around. When are Hispanic women ever compared to dogs? When do they do that? When do they do that to white women? When are white men doing that to white women? When are Hispanic men doing that to Hispanic women? They're not doing it. They're not. Like, and how come as a black woman, me sticking up for it, I'm a Zillia? Like, bruh, like, it's insane. It's insane to me that you're right. Like, that is real freedom of speech being threatened. That's real speech being threatened. You know what I'm saying? Like,
To start off with, people are always going to make jokes about everything and anything. I have to say that I do believe that jokes should be told and that nothing should be off the table. What I do think, though, is you have to ask yourself where these jokes are coming from, and why do we in the black community, and why do we as black men specifically, talk so badly about our black women? So there, I think there's like two conversations that are happening at once. In from what I've been seeing, is that some people are saying Ari Lennox, she's a very successful artist, does really dope music, and once you reach a certain level, you become a target and people are going to say things about you and they don't see you as human, and it's messed up, especially for that individual. And somehow we think that celebrities are just supposed to take that. And I do understand that that's part of the price of fame. Like, you have the massive success on this side and you have to deal with the haters and the ridiculous comments and the people just saying really mean things about you on the other side. That does go hand in hand. But there's a deeper issue here. There's a secondary issue, which I think is why she made a video stream talking about it. And it's why we feel so comfortable publicly shaming black women as black men. This falls under the self-hatred category. This goes into why don't we love ourselves, I'm not going to say that, she said that other races don't do it. And I'm sure that other races make fun of their own features and make fun of themselves culturally. And black people definitely culturally, joking is a big part of our culture. But jokes come from a place of pain. I mean, that's where it comes from. And there's a lot of self-hate, and a lot of that comes into play publicly with our celebrities, and especially with our black women, because they're, women are unfairly judged for their aesthetic appearance in a lot of cases. And I think that what she's asking for isn't for the world to change specifically. She's asking for black men to do a better job. We have to do a better job protecting our own, man. Like, I've said this before. I really feel bad when I see these situations, and I don't know how much more plainly black women can say this, but we got to do a better job protecting our black women, and that means not dragging them publicly. Like, if you're with your friends and you say something funny, you can't help sometimes there being jokes. To go on Twitter and to try to use such easy targets is like, the old stereotype about black features, which, by the way, every other culture tries to imitate through plastic surgery and all that kind of stuff. But then they hate us when we have it. That's ridiculous, Like, we gotta start trimming that back. Now, I've seen people say, like, yo, that's just part of our culture. That's just what we do. Culture can change, culture can shift, and that is something I think we need to start shifting. We need to start preaching more love, putting more love into our community. I know there's always going to be jokes, there's always things that are going to be funny, and you're never going to stop everybody from joking. And I'm not trying to say, yo, you can't talk about black women, but these black women stereotypes, and people say stuff like, yo, I'd never date a black woman. That's ridiculous to say. Like, you know, everybody has preferences. You might have a height preference. You might have a hair preference. You might, you know, you might have an ethnic preferences to dating. But when you start saying, I'm not dating a black woman because they they have these, that's an individual thing. That is not a racial type. There's no racial types. Like, that's a ridiculous statement. But there is a colorism thing, and you know, I saw the word featureism. I've never heard that term before, but I you know, black features, the blacker the skin, like, you know, these all make sense to me as ways that people are judged aesthetically, because we live in a world that has European standards of beauty where whiteness or closeness, proximity to whiteness is valued, and that just don't sit well with me, you know. It's not something that you can help, because you're brought up in this society, you see these standards of beauty, you see these levels of success, you see what people value, so inherently you begin to value those things. I think the way that we can combat those things is by putting more positive images of black beauty and black love and black relationships and black success into the minds of the public, the general public overall, so that everyone's minds can change about who we are and what we stand for and what we're about. And what beauty is, like the spectrum of beauty, where it lands. Like, you know, I also feel like us right now, those of us who didn't grow up, you know, seeing those things, we need to reevaluate where we stand. Why are we saying these things? Why are we making these jokes? Where does this feeling come from? Why do we feel the need to compare, you know, a beautiful black woman to an animal? Why do you want to do that? Where in your soul does that come from? Where in your heart does it, like, where have you heard that before? Is that something that you've seen before? Like, you know, because there's a long history of that stuff. So I think it's important that we just take some time to evaluate where these ideas are coming from, where this imagery is coming from, what it really means, and really, you know, take that into account. We have to do a better job protecting our women, and we have to do a better job listening as black men. I'm speaking only as a black man. I don't, you know, this obviously affects women in a different way, and, you know, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other people that have a more in-depth perspective talking about how that hits them when they hear these ridiculous comparisons. But to me, I'm talking from a black male perspective to other black men, and I'm saying, you know, they're asking us to do more. They're asking us to step up to the plate and to, you know, be a barrier. You know, like in a lot of ways, the rest of the world, if you look at like the dating profile sites or any of the data from data profiles, it says that black women are the least attractive, even though everybody imitates their features, even though, you know, they've been fetishized in media. This says they're the least attractive to date, and that's because of these ridiculous stereotypes that everybody believes in. You know, that they're difficult, that they're not loyal, that they're gold diggers, that they're just looking for like all of that stuff that's been propagated through media for years. It's been told, but it's not true. These things are not true, and we're the last line of defense. We're supposed to be there with them. We're, you know, they always have our backs in most situations. They're right there on the front lines fighting for us, and they don't feel that same support. So you know, I just put the call out there to say I think that we need to do a better job. You know, if that means like not making the joke, then don't make the joke, bro. You don't drag somebody for clout. That's a weird thing to do. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. You know, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're gonna be dropping a lot more content.
Voodoo.